Greetings all, and welcome to Dave's Craft Room bonus video. And on today's video, I have a drawer here full of all of the scraps and leftovers from last week's lend and borrow quilt. And I'm literally gonna sew this stuff up into a quilt. There's also 5 million HSTs in here. I also have some fat quarters left that I didn't choose, like kind of the brown and black ones that maybe I'll use those too. We're also gonna get into some behind the scenes tea, some DCR BTS tea in today's video, so stay tuned and get into it and let's get started. And by the way, if you notice here that I have a new cutting mat, it's because the Grace Company sent me this mat as well as some other stunningly gorgeous products that I'm gonna try out soon. Probably on today's video. Not all of them, but you'll see them. And also you can check the description box below because I have a code so that you can get 15% off. Let's get started. And before we get started, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna sharpen my blade on this. Oh, blade sharpener. All right, guys, so let's get into some stuff. Obviously, I've moved and I'm in a new house and I'm settling in and it's a vibe. I like my new house. You know what's interesting? My videos are filmed on, different timelines, and I don't believe there's any way to really tell by the video unless I mention it when stuff was filmed. So a lot of time has passed of not filming things. I mean, I went to my parents' house. I had a whole month off of work and I went to my parents' house for the holidays, and then I was here for about 6 weeks before my belongings got here. Luckily, I didn't have to lift a finger to do the moving. Actually, they wouldn't let me lift a finger. They moved literally everything, and then it took about 3 months from the day that that the movers came, until I got my things. And of course, I did film videos in that time. I filmed couple videos with my mom. I filmed the design wall video. We went to QuiltCon. We went to QuiltCon before I even had my stuff here in the house. I also did make that one quilt upstairs with that little sewing machine. That was cute. And then, okay, let's get into this. I actually filmed a couple of videos, an alien video. And New Mexico is known for the aliens. So I made this alien quilt. And if you guys remember my series, one of my favorite things that I've ever done of all time is my Halloween series. I had an absolute blast making that series. I made this Halloween series. I took footage from old movies and I edited it in to tell the story of, different stories for the videos. I had a zombie movie quilt and I had a haunted house quilt, and I used old footage from old movies cut in. And the thing about that is that all those movies that I used were in the public domain, and I knew that I could do that. I'm allowed to use footage, movies and stuff that's in the public domain. So I conceived of this idea to make an alien quilt, and it was a relatively simple quilt, and I wanted it to tell the story of an alien abduction or something like that. And so I poured through these old movies from before the 1950s, in black and white, the 1930s and all that. It's actually not that easy. There's not a database or nothing that tells you whether something is in the public domain for sure. There's a lot of online resources, but it's not all exhaustive. So there's a lot of information out there that's not really reliable. So anyway, the point is I made my project. I even had it long-armed and I absolutely loved it. And I uploaded it to YouTube and it got flagged for copyright. And the thing is that I would not intentionally ever violate the copyright, obviously, because even if I wanted to, you can't get away with it on YouTube. They clock you. And I was like, no, this footage that I'm using is in the public domain. I have resources to prove it. So I disputed it because I believe that the footage I used is in the public domain. And when you dispute that stuff on YouTube, one of two things happens. First off, the owner of the copyright comes forward and says, no, I own the copyright. You cannot use the footage. And that's that. And then I have no choice other than to take it down if that's the case. Or 30 days go by, and if they don't respond in 30 days, then I win. So I believe that the footage I used is in the public domain. Otherwise, I wouldn't have used it because I spent a lot of time editing that video and I would not have wasted my time using copyrighted footage that I would know that I can't use. So at this point, I'm just waiting for the 30 days to go by. I believe within that 30 days, at the end of that 30 days, I will have won the copyright dispute and I can publish my video. And so, but for that reason, I wasn't able to put out the video on time. And so I bumped up the sweatshirt video. And that's essentially what happened with my life. Sorry, I'm waiting for the iron to heat up. I want to iron these HSTs. Some of them are ironed. I suppose I can take out the ones that are already flat. I moved here in 2018 and I pretty much just adopted New Mexico as my home state. It's a very, very sparsely populated state. The fact that people don't move here a lot and don't come here is the thing that I like about it. But I love it. There's a lot of things here that I like. This is one of the cheaper places for me to live. And I just like it. I hope to spend the rest of my life in New Mexico now. Right, so what am I gonna do for this quilt? I have all of these HSTs that I made, and in the process of making my lend and borrow quilt, I ended up with 3 extra per each block. And that's because you kind of have to make an even number, and so, but I needed an odd number. So there was gonna be extra, and these are them. I'm just gonna take these and sew them up, and I'm gonna take this stuff and sew it up, and I'm gonna take this stuff and sew it up with this. And we're gonna have a scrappy, hopefully artistic quilt. And you know, the colors and the prints are beautiful. So therefore, the quilt should be beautiful. That is how my logic works, and I hope it's true. Guess I'm gonna probably stop talking now and keep working, and I'm gonna see how far I get today. These are all my, guys, I'm really trying here with this camera. I had like a setup and it broke. That's gonna have to be good enough for now. So I have all the HSTs here. I'm literally just gonna sew these up, and that's literally it. Different sizes, different shapes. Huh, I wonder if we should put some thread in the machine. That might help us sew. Guys, I just got my machine serviced in Albuquerque, and you know, to be fair, it was working just fine. I really didn't have any problems with it, but I was very conscious of the fact that like there's definitely a lot of lint in there. It just is what it is. And we're about to use it for the first time since it's been serviced. I'm filling up a bobbin, by the way. Wait a minute, hold on, listen. Hear how smooth that is? Alright, so the move now is literally to just sew on some pieces of stuff. Alright people, so just to give you an update on what happened with my copyright dispute, you may have seen the video is live now. I used footage from the 1954 film Killers from Space, and it says online on various websites that it's in the public domain, but however, you can't believe everything you read because it's actually not. It is protected by copyright. And I was ready to re-edit the video and just put it out without that story, but what happened next was the copyright owner actually granted me permission to use it. So I was able to publish my video, and check it out if you haven't seen it. And by the way, I publish new quilt videos every other Tuesday at noon Mountain Time. And actually, there's been a lot of bonus videos recently, which is when I have something extra, like some kind of extra video stuff that I want to do, but I don't feel like it's maybe a big enough idea to make people wait for 2 weeks for it. And that's been happening a lot recently. And it will continue for the next month or so, but it will not continue forever. So usually we're doing every other Tuesday a quilt video at noon Mountain Time, and please like the video and subscribe to my channel. We just recently hit 20K subscribers, so thank you all for that, and let's keep it going. Good. Okay. Now all I have to do is fill in the gaps with these. These are the rest of the fat quarters that I have. So that's plenty, I think, I hope. And then sew it up. Good! I hope to make it a little wider with this. Oh, it shrunk. 68 inches, 61 inches. All right, that's like a throw. We can deal with that. 68 inches by 60, or 61 by 68. We'll see whether we can get any more size. Otherwise, we'll just proceed. Alright, the final size is going to be 61 inches by like 68. Okay, so like I originally said, 61 by 68. So that would be like a throw, or it could be for a child. This is going to be the perfect quilt size, especially for me to practice on my Cutie breeze frame that I just got. So let me get it backing together. It's just going to be probably whatever I can scrounge up. And then I have my 80-20 batting here. Oh, I'm going to need to do roll soon. I'm going to quilt this on that with that sewing machine. And hopefully it works out well. So here I go. All right, guys, that's a wrap on the bonus quilt. I love this quilt. It's small, but it turned out good, and this is the first, I guess, real quilt that I've quilted on my Cutie breeze frame, and it worked great. You honestly can't tell where the zones were. That was kind of my concern, was that you'd be able to tell, but you can't. And I just did a meander. Definitely, I have room to improve, just in terms of getting the stitch length equal. I don't have a regulator, nor do I really feel like messing with that. I would rather just make my stitches even. So I'm gonna keep practicing, but I really feel like it turned out great. And this quilt turned out so crinkly and crispy, crunchy. Cool. All right, that's gonna be all for today's video. Thank you for coming to Dave's Craft Room. Make sure you check out the original lend and borrow quilt that I made using these fabrics that this is the leftovers from. If you have not seen that, I'm going to put the link here on the screen. And that's going to be all for today's video. Thank you for coming to Dave's Craft Room. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and please come again.